like to start off this video by apologizing for my gameplay. I was not sober when I recorded the gameplay for this. You may notice my aim is off. I'm sort of struggling with the button pressing, but my teammates were pretty goated, if you will. They were cooking, as the kids would say. But as a team, you know, we managed to complete the mission fighting the automatons. But today, I don't have anything to say about bots. Nothing to say about them. I do have something to say about bugs. Alright? I work outside a lot. And, you know, anyone who goes outside, I presume most of you go outside. Even if you live under a rock, you should know about bugs. In fact, you may even know more than average. And I wanted to share my thoughts on them. But tier lists are boring and overdone, and instead I will be ranking them based on their moral alignment. So we'll start with the lawful good bugs. Now I only have one bug recorded as a lawful good bug, and maybe you can guess what it is already. The bee. Alright? They're a natural ally of the human. They provide honey. They're the biggest pollinator in the whole world, and without them, we probably would not have the level of diversity and beauty in our ecosystem. And people have it in their heads that if they get too close to a bee, they'll get stung. Let me tell you, I've been next to a few bees in my time, never been stung. You have to understand, bees are equipped to defend themselves and to defend their home. But they will not, they're not vindictive, they're not cruel with their weapons. They only use it in self-defense. And really, that's the most honorable trait of any animal, right? They have the strength to defend their people, but they're not corrupt. They only use their power when it's necessary. Moving on to the neutral good category, we have first off the ladybug. They are a predator in the garden and on the farm. They eat aphids, which are an enemy of crops. They save crops from aphids by eating them. Also, in the neutral good category, we have the butterfly. Butterflies, like bees, are also pollinators, but they're also the most beautiful fucking bug you'd ever see in your entire life. They're just gorgeous. And if any of you are thinking, why are you considering the beauty of the bug in the morality scale? Well, think about this. Friedrich Nietzsche said that morality has an aesthetic consideration. So yeah, chew on that, fucking idiot. Now, the next category, chaotic good, may have a controversial resident. It's the spider. Many people don't like spiders. They're one of the most hated little bugs. By the way, I know they're not an insect. Alright, they're not an insect, they're an arachnid, but I'm counting them in the bug category because fuck you. Listen, spiders hunt all the undesirable bugs, and much like the bee, they generally will not bother you unless you fuck with them. They can bite, and there are some that are poisonous, and it is also true that they create disgusting webbing that you have to clean up in your house. At the same time, they perform a public service thanklessly, even though they're kind of wily, and you wouldn't want to trust one. Like, would I let a spider hunt in my kitchen? Probably. Would I let it hunt in my bedroom? Maybe not. Such is the nature of chaotic good. So now we'll be going down a tier. We're moving away from the good bugs and into the neutral bugs. Our only lawful neutral bug is the ant. If you've ever had an infestation of ants, you'll know that they're pretty pesky and annoying to deal with, which is why I simply cannot justify considering them a good bug. They are cute, and they're very cool, right? They're one of the coolest creatures. If you do any research on how their social structure works, they're very intelligent. Like, they're almost intelligent, and, you know, they have, like, an insane level of organization. There's some ants that farm and have, like, agriculture, or who harvest the goods of other bugs. They're by no means evil. They're sort of out for themselves. So up next are the true neutral bugs. And this is probably where the vast majority of bugs are going to be. All the bugs that I don't personally have any real experience with are probably neutral to me. But a few standouts include the pill bug, also known as the roly-poly, and the praying mantis. These two bugs are cool. Like, if you see one, so let's say you're out with friends and someone goes, "Hey guys, I just saw a praying mantis." Everyone stops what they're doing to go look at the praying mantis. You know what I mean? Like, the praying mantis, and by the way, I've heard that praying mantises can be good for your garden too, but sometimes they also eat good bugs. You know what I mean? Like, they eat the bad bugs that destroy the garden, but they also eat the other good bugs that help the garden. Really, they are kind of just a true neutral bug, but they're really cool looking. Same thing with the pill bug. You'll love seeing them curl up in a little ball. You'll love to see it. It's the cutest thing you ever saw. In the next category, we have the chaotic neutral bugs. In this category, we have the housefly, which I'm sure needs no explanation as to why it's in this category. If you've ever had a fucking housefly buzzing around in your house, hitting a window, buzzing around your ears, just generally bothering you, you'll understand why these are in chaotic neutral. I am literally the kind of guy that will save spiders by putting them in a cup and then tossing them outside. You know what I mean? But the housefly, you know, you can't put it in a cup because it's too fast, and frankly, it's just fucking annoying. So there's a reason why we call them fly swatters. They're basically made to get rid of these damn houseflies. Also in the chaotic neutral category, I have a bit of a specific one, and it is the Pandora moth. Very appropriately named. These things are Pandora's box being opened, right? So basically in my area, these moths, they have a life cycle of, you know, every few years, they all hatch, and they come out as these cute little fuzzy caterpillars. Once these caterpillars go through metamorphosis, they transform. And let me tell you, these fuckers are everywhere. I used to work at a gas station. It'd be in the middle of the night. The gas station is lighting up the entire night sky with its bright ass LED lights. And so they would attract the moths. So I'd come into work the next day, and these moths are everywhere. They're fluttering around up there under the canopy. They're all over the gas pumps. And worst of all, they're on the ground. Alright, now I don't know if you people have ever been to a gas station, but there's cars coming through. And these cars are running over the moths. And so, after a few hours of this, of these big trucks and cars running over these moths and splattering them into little yellow paste, they start to stink. I never would have thought that I would experience what a dead bug smelled like, but once you get enough of them in a little area, my god, does it reek. And by the way, I'm employed at this gas station, so I'm the one that has to scrape their fucking yellow ass jelly off the pavement. They're not evil. They can't help it. You know what I mean? That they're just, this is just their life cycle. This is just part of the deal for them. So Pandora moth, chaotic neutral. But there are bugs out there. We've been talking about a lot of good bugs, a lot of neutral bugs, but let's talk about some of the worst bugs. First off, in the lawful evil category is the hornet. They build hives, and they are organized, and they socialize, but unlike the bee, they don't pollinate, they don't make honey. The only thing they make is higher cortisol levels in anyone who has to deal with them, because unlike bees, they're also aggressive and will sting you for no fucking reason. This happened to me, and let me tell you, when I remember what it was like being stung by a hornet, it makes my body physically cringe. I literally recoil at the thought of being stung by a hornet. They're terrible. Terrible bug. The next most evil bug after the hornet is in our next category of bug. The neutral evil category is occupied by the fruit fly. Now, it may seem innocuous at first, a non-threatening bug, if you will, which is true. When there's one of them, it always starts with one. When I was a young whippersnapper, having just moved out of my parents' house, I struggled with this because I didn't really appreciate the value of keeping things clean in the house. I didn't really understand the value of not leaving food out because my parents would always do that for me. You know, they would put away the food. And so when these fruit flies started infesting my apartment, I was trying so hard to figure out what it was. Once I realized it was the half-drink cup of Jamba Juice, I peered inside and it looked like a horror movie in there. There were so many covering all the walls and fluttering around, slurping away, making themselves at home in my decaying fruit shake. You may be thinking, oh, this could be a chaotic evil bug. But I didn't put them in the chaotic evil category because, while they are evil, I just don't think that they're malicious. At the end of the day, they're just trying to survive. Which is technically true of the final bug that I will be talking about today. The only chaotic evil bug I have written down here. And let me tell you, I am a pacifist for the most part. I try to avoid killing bugs. You know, if I see an ant on the sidewalk, I will actively avoid stepping on it, right? Because I'm not a psychopath. Fruit flies, I only kill because I have to, right? If I don't, they will spread and then they'll be impossible to take care of. There is, however, one insect that I will kill on sight, even if it's not bothering me. There's one insect in the world where if I see it, everything stops so that I can kill it. Quite the opposite of the praying mantis, actually. With the praying mantis, you stop everything to go look at it. With this bug, you stop everything to kill it. The mosquito. The mosquito is the natural enemy of humankind. It has absolutely no redeeming qualities. Mosquitoes latch onto you, suck your blood, and then fly away. Which is annoying on its own, but they leave a bite mark on your body. I mean, they could get infected. They carry malaria. You know, there's places in the world where the mosquitoes are so bad and so numerous, they literally have to sleep in a net in order to not get sucked dry during the night. These things are fucking abominations. So that's my bug alignment ranking. I will be putting it up on screen now. You know, maybe you have different opinions. Maybe you have different experiences with these bugs. Or maybe you can think of some bugs that fit in this alignment chart that I have failed to address. And if so, if there are bugs you can think of that I didn't cover in today's video, well then you can go catch one and stick it up your ass, because I won't be talking about it. So you ever buy a game on Steam because it was really inexpensive, and then you just sort of let it sit in your library for a little while because you don't find the time to play it? It never really seems like you're in the mood. So you just put it off, and before you know it, 2 weeks have passed, and you have missed your window for the refund. And now the time has come, you finally open the game and you realize, oh, it's dog shit. I've made this mistake a few times. Most recently with Hyper Chess. It seemed like a fun concept. It is a sort of like a real-time chess game where you have a meter of moves that goes up to 5, so you can use 5 moves in rapid succession, but then you have to wait for the meter to charge up. So basically you play a game of chess, but you can move out of order. Only once I played the game did I realize the problem with it. It has nothing to do with the game itself. Actually, the game itself is probably good. The reason why I say it's dog shit is because nobody's playing it. I didn't realize until, you know, I was in the game and trying to get into a match that it had like an average concurrent player base of like 5. So every like once in a blue moon I get into a match, and it ends up being this like ultra tryhard who knows all the ins and outs of how the game works. And it's not like there's any tutorial or anything, you know, God forbid there's a tutorial. No, it just throws you right in. You have to play against the apex predators who have already weeded out all of the minnows. And you're coming in, fresh out the hatchery, a little baby-ass minnow, coming into a fucking lake full of barracudas. You don't stand a chance. Now, granted, I did get it on a sale, and it was like $2 or something, but I'm so petty and stingy with my money that I still tried to get a refund and only, you know, discovered too late that I had missed the window for the refund. It's not Steam's fault. I think their policy is very reasonable. They will refund you, as far as I am aware, and this doesn't apply, I don't know how this applies to DLC or in-game purchase or anything like that. Just the base game, when you buy a game, you can refund it as long as you don't have over 2 hours of gameplay in it and have owned it for less than 14 days. I think that's a very generous policy. I just simply missed my window and have thus lost $2. It's really hard to hate Steam, you know, despite the fact that they're a private business. Well, I guess the fact that they're a private corporation rather than a public corporation is probably a big reason why it doesn't suck complete ass right now. The vast majority of the other companies in the video game industry are publicly traded on the stock market or are owned by companies that are publicly traded, and thus all of the decisions made at the highest levels of the corporation are done explicitly and purely to maximize profit above all else. And Steam is not beholden to stockholders, so at least in theory, they don't have to do that. I mean, of course, they are still a business and they do still have to worry about their profits. You'd have a hard time, let me put it this way, you would be pressed. Is that what the kids say these days? You would be pressed to find someone who plays video games regularly on the PC and doesn't have a positive opinion of Steam. You know, I don't care if you're a dyed-in-the-wool communist. You open up their Steam library and you're gonna see dozens and dozens of games. You ask them, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, I love Steam. I simp for Steam. That's what they'll say. They'll say they simp for Steam. Nobody asked for all these like fun customization options. You know what I mean? I was just experimenting with this recently. If you are considering customizing your Steam account in the point shop, I believe that's what it's called, the point shop, do not look at the games that these wallpapers are from. You'll look at these like little custom profile backgrounds and you'll be like, oh, this is like it'd be like, oh, I don't know, like a space nebula, you know, or like just like a nice wallpaper of the Milky Way galaxy. And, oh, I wonder what game this is from. You click on it and it's from like Cum Harvester 2. It'll be like Futa Breast Milker Deluxe. All the coolest wallpapers to customize your profile on Steam come from the most deplorable, despicable fucking games. But we like that, don't we? We like the custom Steam profiles. Well, that was the third episode of RainbowFruit Radio that you just listened to. In hindsight, probably droned on a bit too much about bugs, but there you go. You know, not every episode is going to be about Star Wars glub shittos. Some episodes will be about bugs, and next episode, who knows, maybe I'll be talking about bugs again. I don't know what I'll be talking about, and I don't know what I'll be playing, but today's gameplay was Helldivers 2. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.